Hi, good evening. Good evening, all of you.
Good evening,
Do you
madam.
hear
Good evening, madam.
me? Right. Okay. After some time, I think we are going to meet today, and I'm going to continue the previous discussion. Hope you remember about what I discussed during the last session. Do you remember anything now? I have displayed here the first slide, right? I mean, the first slide, the title slide of our new lesson that is on consonants and vowels. Actually, I'm not going to talk anything about the previous topics, okay? Right? Now, this topic I just wanted to share first because maybe you might not have a fresh memory now regarding what we discussed last. So we started our discussion on consonants and vowel sounds. Actually, this discussion is based on phonetics, right? In your module, you need to cover all these areas in linguistics, starting with phonetics, phonology, ending with semantics, right? So, in the area of phonetics and phonology, specifically phonetics, we are going to talk about the production of sounds. No, that is what we discussed as phonetics, studying the production, basically the production of sounds that comes under the specific branch of phonetics called articulatory phonetics, right? So this lesson is based on this area which we call articulatory phonetics. Actually, we are not going to talk in detail about auditory phonetics or acoustic phonetics, but you need to know, you have to have some awareness about all these three branches of phonetics. But we need to discuss a little bit more on articulatory phonetics, right? Now, that is what we started doing during the previous session, and what did I do? Can you remember? I was talking about, actually, I started my discussion with the consonant sounds, talking about the production of consonants, and I introduced the four features of consonants. So if you happen to describe the production of any consonant, right, you need to refer to these four features. As I earlier told to you, I have already told these things, right? These four features. So in the sense, you should be able to explain the production of any consonant sound in relation to the state of the glottis, which means you should know whether that consonant is voiced or voiceless. Then you need to know about the state of the velum, which means whether that consonant is a nasal consonant or an oral consonant. And according to the place of articulation, what the particular type of that consonant. Whether it's a bilabial, now that's what we are going to discuss today, right? We are going to continue from the third feature. And according to the manner of articulation, again, what type of a consonant is that? So you have to have a full understanding, clear understanding about these four features, right? Uh, okay, and I was introducing these 22 consonants, and these last two are semivowels, right? Okay, so I need to continue my discussion from this topic. Am I correct? Um, right? Is that clear? Clear in the sense you have some, I think now, some kind of memory regarding what we have been discussing, right? Okay. So don't think that all of a sudden I'm going to talk about place of articulation. If you don't remember what we discussed earlier, please refer to the notes. You might get the recordings as well now. Okay. Other than that, please refer to the note. Then you will find, you will like the things will fall into the correct places if you refer to the previous notes, right, and the recordings. Okay. Then today we are going to talk about place of articulation, and after this, manner of articulation. Now, what do you mean by this place of articulation? articulation is production, right? So we can classify all these 22 consonants according to the place of articulation. That means according to where they are produced inside our mouth. Actually, in phonetics, we do not use the word mouth, right? Mouth means a vocal tract. We have two tracts, no? Nasal tract and the vocal tract. And talking about the place of articulation, mainly we discussed or we talk about how we can classify consonants according to particularly where they are produced inside the vocal tract. Because there are so many places available. And any consonant can be produced at any of these places. Syllabus. What do you mean by? I mean, content of this. I think I have shared the contents of the syllabus. I'm answering to this message, right? I have already shared the content of the syllabus in my very first session, I think. You were not there? Shavini?
No,
Shavini, I'm
miss.
sorry.
I didn't
So then
attend the first thing.
you need to refer to the recordings, right? Please refer to the
Oh,
recordings. Already discussed all these things. I have introduced the module, given the content, and everything is over now. So today is, I think, the fourth session. As far as wait, just wait. I will tell you exactly. Yeah, today is the fourth session. So we have discussed a lot. I have discussed a lot, right? Please refer to the recordings. You will get the recordings, definitely. Refer to them, right? Okay, this is not the time for, to go back and talk about the overall module. Okay. Yes. So then I was telling this place of articulation, talking about the particular place where we produce the consonants. So accordingly, now you can find in these words, these terms that are highlighted in blue color, bilabial, labiodental, dental, likewise, there are 10 different types of consonants according to the place of articulation. 10 different types. Right, so you need to have a clear idea about about the places of these 10 types of consonant sounds. Just have a look at this, right? Bilabials. First one, bilabial. Actually, I'm not going to read all these notes all the time, line by line, right? Once you get the recordings, you can refer to them now. And I have sent you the notes also, okay? So then all these things are available in the note. So that's why I'm telling all the time I'm not reading the lines in the note. You have to read your note. And I'm just guiding you how to follow the note. That's it. During our lecture sessions. So what do you mean by bilabial? Simply you can understand it and remember it. Bilabial. Bi means two. Labial lips. No? So any consonant sound that is produced at the two lips, right? Not only one lip, we have upper lip and lower lip. Okay, so any consonant which is produced using both upper lip and lower lip is a bilabial consonant, right? It's a bilabial consonant. So when you just think about these two lips, upper and lower, you should understand upper lip is not, of course, we are moving all these speech organs, but other than the upper lip, the lower lip that is very active, right? Just think and if possible, look at a mirror when you are talking something, right? More than the upper lip, it is the lower lip which is moving. Moving means raising and touching the upper lip, right? That kind of thing. So we say lower lip is active, not the upper lip. Okay. And here I have given only one example for bilabial consonants. There are three bilabial consonants. Three in English, right? Only B sound is given here. What are the other two? Can you guess the other two sounds? Other two bilabials? Better if you can
per,
write more examples, right? If you have, yes?
per,
What's that? I didn't hear. Per,
Pers
ber, and one more.
person.
Yes. Yes, correct. Per, and I have given ber sound
Ma,
here, right? And what is the
ma.
other? Yes, correct. Yes, that's right. So, this. Okay. So complete your note. Better to write down the other examples also because only bilabials are quite limited, right? Even while labiodentals, we don't have many sounds, right? Next one, labiodental. So you can understand it like this. Labiodental. Labio means lips. No? Dental means teeth. So labiodental consonants are produced using lips and teeth. But the thing is, we have two lips and two sets of teeth. Upper lip, lower lip, upper teeth, lower teeth. Right? So then you need to little bit remember which lip and which teeth. So usually, earlier also I told you, it is not the upper lip, but lower lip which is active. Now here also in producing labiodental sounds, we use our lower lip, right? And talking about the teeth, we use the upper teeth, not the lower teeth. So remember then, in producing sounds, although we have two sets of teeth, upper teeth and lower teeth, we usually do not use the lower teeth. We use upper teeth. Okay, right. So upper teeth and lower lip. By using these two, when we make contact between upper teeth and lower lip, we produce labiodental sounds. It's like this. We bite our lower lip with upper teeth. Like that. If you can see me, okay, that kind of position is there. And tongue is not doing any significant job here, right? Okay, so one example is given fur, and one more labiodental. What is that? Only two
V,
labiodental consonants are there.
v, v.
Yes, correct. The other one, okay, fine. Okay. Then we have dental consonants, third category. Now, to produce dental consonants, we need the tongue. Okay. Tongue in the sense now, you have, tongue is a very large organ. No? So there are so many parts in the tongue, right? We have this top of the tongue, okay? When you put your tongue out, your friend or whoever near you sees the top. And that top of the tongue we call tip. Soon after the tip, we find blade of the tongue. Okay, soon after. Immediately after, not very far. Immediately after tip, we find blade of the tongue. And the middle area, okay, the middle area of the tongue is called front of the tongue. And the back area of the tongue is called back of the tongue. Right? And root of the tongue is also there, but we use tip, blade, front and back for these four areas. Now, when we produce dental consonants, what does happen? We raise our tip of the tongue and touch the upper teeth, right? Touch the upper teeth and produce consonants. So, such consonants are called dental. There are some examples from Spanish also, but in English, actually, this is not the phonetic symbol, right? I have sent you the same note. If you have a hard copy, I think I have earlier asked you to get a hard copy. If you have a hard copy of these notes, very useful because you can do a lot of additions, maybe some amendments, changes, whatever, while the discussions are going on in the lectures, right? So this is not the phonetic symbol. Okay, tell me what are the two? There are two dental consonants. Two, only two. What are they?
And the
And yes, this is the, and these all these symbols are available in the consonant list, right? Which I introduced to you during the previous session. All these symbols are there, and this consonant sound is the, right? The and the. These are the two dental consonants, and in some books, in some other places, the same type of the consonant is called interdental as well, either dental or interdental. I haven't given that term here. Okay, so interdental, same, the and the. And the next one, alveolar consonants. Alveolar, now you need to understand the production of alveolar consonants, you need to find out where your alveolar ridge is located. Okay, now you can't see it. You can't see the alveolar ridge, only you can feel it. So let's try to produce this sound. L. L, like when you say like or like, L. Your tip of the tongue rises and touches a particular place. Can you feel the place? L. And if you are not feeling comfortable with L, there's another example. Another sound, N. Like when you say not, N. Tip of the tongue touches the alveolar ridge. Where is the alveolar ridge? It is there soon after the upper teeth, right? Soon after, immediately after the upper teeth. Did you find that? The place? Alveolar ridge? Yes. Anybody, everyone can produce these two sounds. L and N. Actually, you do not touch your upper teeth, right? It is not the upper teeth. Somewhere after the upper teeth. That place is called alveolar ridge. Okay. So when we produce consonants by touching the alveolar ridge with the tip of the tongue, these consonants are called alveolar consonants. Right? So we have so many alveolar consonants. L, N, even this one, S. These are alveolar consonants. And in this note, D is there. But okay, T, D are also alveolar consonants, but there's a small problem there. Okay. The other alveolar consonant is this T. Hope you all can see my screen, what I'm writing on my screen. Okay. These are alveolar consonants. But there is a problem with T and D. Right, okay, just let me mark them so that you can find them easily. Right, this alveolar consonant and this alveolar consonant. Problem in the sense, actually, that is not a problem, but a difference. Now, these T and D are alveolar consonants in British Standard English pronunciation. Okay, for the native English speakers, Britishers, third are alveolar consonants because they produce these two sounds by touching the alveolar ridge with their tip of the tongue. But how do you produce t and d? Could you please produce these two sounds which I have circled, and tell me whether your tongue, tip of the tongue, touches the alveolar ridge or something else, somewhere else. Can you just try that now and tell me what happens? Yes. Third, are they alveolar consonants for us? What do you think? Are you still producing the two sounds? Just telling it once is enough. I can produce t, d, but you do not feel when I produce now. You have to produce and feel it on your own. What does happen? Any idea? Anybody who would like to tell us something? Hello?
Good evening, Miss.
I
Yeah,
think the
actually
tip touches our hard palate.
Hard palate.
um,
Okay. Madhushan is also telling something that I
Yeah,
didn't hear.
there's a slight difference, like you said, where the places that the tongue is, tip of the tongue is touching. That is true. Yeah, I feel
Yeah.
it too.
Yeah, can you just figure out? Can you figure out the place which is touched
Uh,
by the tongue?
when we pronounce the t and
Mm.
the tongue, the tip of the tongue is like
Mm.
touching a little bit further into the upper of the mouth
Yes, exactly. Hmm. Correct. So
inside
you
of
have correctly
and
felt
mm,
the production and recognized. Okay, Madhushan, thanks. And you just think about the particular terms, right? All of you.
no,
Now,
no.
terms means it's like now, soon after our alveolar ridge, we have hard palate. Hard palate means that hard area. Hard area in Sinhala, we have the word udutal in Sinhala, right? So you have that hard area, you can clearly feel it now. That is called roof of the tongue as well, right? So if you now, okay, wait it. I will, yeah, Hima, your answer is also correct. Uh, I can't end the show, then all these my writings will be gone, okay? You must have a diagram. In my notes that I have shared with you all, you must have a diagram of the vocal tract. Just have a look at that diagram if you have a hard copy, right? There, upper teeth is there, and soon after the upper teeth, you have the alveolar ridge, and after the alveolar ridge, you have this hard area, right? This curve part inside the mouth, this curve part. And at the end of this curve part, you have this uvula, right? The small hanging thing, right? Uvula. Okay. Right. Now this is the hard palate, and you have the alveolar ridge somewhere here, alveolar ridge, and this is the upper teeth, right? Okay, and your nose is like that. It goes on like that, no? Right. Now the thing is, when we produce these two sounds, t and our tip of the tongue, right? It rises and touches somewhere after the alveolar ridge, somewhere here. Okay, like this, not the alveolar ridge. That is one characteristics of Sri Lankan English pronunciation. Okay, only in Sri Lankan English, we therefore identify these two sounds, t and not as alveolar sounds, but as post-alveolar sounds. So in Sri Lankan English, t and sorry, in Sri Lankan English, then this t and the sounds are post-alveolar sounds. Post-alveolar sounds. But in British English, right? In SLE, post-alveolar sounds. And in British English, these two sounds are alveolar sounds. Alveolar sounds. Whereas the other sounds, the s, l, n, these are alveolar sounds, both British English and American English and Sri Lankan English and everywhere. Only the third are different. Okay, so that description is not included in the note actually. All these sounds are considered as alveolar sounds in British English, but just remember that fact, okay? According to the Sri Lankan English, these two are post-alveolar, not hard palate. We don't say that our tip of the tongue rises and touches the hard palate. No, towards the hard palate, towards the hard palate area, somewhere in between alveolar ridge and the hard palate. Because you find the hard palate here, right? This is the hard palate. So somewhere in between. That is why we call them post-alveolar consonants. Okay, right. Then the next one, alveolar palatal. Alveolar palatal. Right. Fine. what is the particular place? Actually, alveolo-palatal means there are two places, right? One place is alveolar ridge, the other place is palate. The word palatal is coming from palate, and palate means hard palate. So this sound is called alveolo-palatal because it is produced in two places. Okay, two places are relevant in the production of alveolo-palatal sound. The front of the tongue, or sometimes the blade of the tongue, is raised to an area between the alveolar ridge and the palatal, right? Okay, just this is the sound. I will write the phonetic symbol. Change the color. The sound is the one you find in shoe, ship, right? Sh sound. Sh. What is exactly happening is that when you say sh, now all of you just produce sh, feel it on your own, then you can clearly understand what is happening there in the production, right? Don't limit this understanding to the note only. You have to practically feel it. Okay, sh, sh. Your tip of the tongue touches the alveolar ridge. Okay, when you say sh. But not only that, your front of the tongue, front means the middle part of the tongue, rises towards the area called hard palate. Tip of the tongue rises and touches the alveolar ridge. At the same time, the front of the tongue rises and touches or goes very near to the hard palate. That is why we call it alveolar palatal. Sure. Okay, right. Then we have palatal consonants. Palatal consonants, there's only one place is relevant, that is the hard palate, right? The front of the tongue is rising and touching the hard palate. Hard palate, and in the note actually there is a kind of problem, right? Because it is the example, give problem with this example. Yeah. Here is correct actually. When we produce here, you produce it and see the front of the tongue, that means the middle part of the tongue rises and almost touches the hard palate. No? Here. Okay, but there's a problem. Can anybody notice that? They should. Hmm. Yes. No idea. One second, please. Yeah is not a consonant, that is the problem. Okay. Here is a semivowel. You find this sound at the end of the consonant list. Can you remember? There was a list of consonants, 22 consonants, and the last two sounds were and here they are semivowels, not consonants. Right? Okay. But here is a palatal sound, not a palatal consonant. Here is a palatal sound. Fine. Can you tell me the palatal consonants? you can add examples of palatal consonants to your note. What are the palatal consonants? That means the consonant sounds which we produced when the front of the tongue touches the hard palate. It doesn't have to be a complete touch, right? The front of the tongue rises near the hard palate. There are two palatal consonant sounds available. What are they? Any idea? No. Nulara, what do you mean by native and non-native speakers? No. I'm asking about the palatal consonant sounds. Examples. Two examples of the palatal consonant sounds. Nulara, is that clear? I think my question must be clear, right? Okay. We have this ch and j. How do you say? I will write the phonetic symbols here. Okay. If you can't remember these symbols, please refer to the note. Right? Refer to this list. It's available in the note, and earlier I have discussed also. Right. This is the other palatal consonant. Ch and j. First one, ch, like when you say church, ch. And the second one, j, like when you say judge. Okay.
Bridge.
In both,
Bridge.
yes. In both
Bridge.
situations, which
Yes.
is that correct? That is also churn. Yeah. So in both these sounds, you find your tongue. Tongue means the body part of the tongue, the central part, we call it front part, is touching the hard palate. Okay. So these two examples are palatal consonants. And in the note, this year is actually the phonetic symbol of year is this one. That is palatal semivowel. In the note, you have palatal semivowel, but please take down the palatal consonants. Because at the moment, we are talking about consonants, so you need to write about the consonants. Right. Number 7, velar. Velar consonants. What about that? Now, velar consonants are produced at the velum. Okay. Velum is another word for soft palate. Now, just refer to that diagram, right? Where you have your oral tracts. So there, you have the hard palate. And soon after the hard palate, you have a soft area. Okay, that soft area is called soft palate or velum. And after the soft palate, you have this small dangly thing, the hanging thing, which is called uvula, right? So soft palate is the soft area which is located in between the hard palate and the uvula, right? Okay. So then soft palate all along can't produce sounds. The tongue should rise and touch the soft palate or the velum. So there, I earlier told you there are 4 parts of the tongue. So to produce velar consonants, remember, we use the back or dorsum of the tongue, right? Back of the tongue. Back of the tongue rises and touches the velum or the soft palate to produce velar consonants. So we have 3 velar consonants. Okay, not 3 velars, right? 3 velar consonants. 1 velar consonant is given in the note. That is g. What are the other 2 velar consonants? Now, you can produce g and feel the production of velar consonants. G, g. It is the back of the tongue, right? Back of the tongue rising and touching the velum. What are the other 2?
K.
Yes.
K.
K is another one. K, G, and one more. What is the third one? There you know the sound, but sometimes the symbol might not be very familiar. Right. Now this is the third velar sound. The sound is ng. Ng. Like when you say the word ink, I-N-K, right? When you say I-N-K, ink, the sound you find in the middle of the word, ng, ng, ng. What happens in the mouth? The back of the tongue touches the soft palate. So these three sounds are velar consonants. Right. Okay. Then number 8, uvular consonants. Uvular, uvular means the area, that small hanging area, no, hanging organ after the soft palate, right? So we call it uvula. And when the tongue touches the uvula and produces some consonants, we call those consonants uvular consonants, right? Uvular consonants. The back of the tongue touches the uvula. And usually in English, we rarely find uvular consonants. We don't, actually almost not. We don't find any uvular consonants, but there are other languages, maybe like Arabic languages. Not even in Tamil, I don't think uvular consonants are available. But this is one place of articulation, right? Uvular consonants are available in some languages. Right, number 9, actually I have missed that. I have not highlighted this one, right? Okay, pharyngeal. Pharyngeal consonants. Pharyngeal consonants, remember, that is also not very familiar to us because in our languages we do not use pharyngeal consonants, but understand what happens there. The root of the tongue is moved backwards against the wall of the pharynx. Now, you know where your pharynx is. Right. Now, this is the diagram. Hopefully, this is available in your note, right? Okay. Here, you find the pharynx. This is the pharynx area. And when we produce pharyngeal consonants, now the root of the tongue is here, right? Tongue root, it is pushed inside like this, moves backward towards the pharynx area when we produce pharyngeal consonants. But the thing is, we do not use pharyngeal consonants in our languages a lot, right? So the production of pharyngeal consonants is not very familiar to us. But there is a type there, right? Number 10, glottal. Glottal consonants. That is common in any language. Glottal consonants, remember, this particular type of consonant doesn't produce anywhere, right? Anywhere in the sense, anywhere in the oral cavity. It is produced inside the larynx. Here, glottal consonants. Because larynx, you know what larynx is? Larynx is this particular speech organ. Inside, we find the vocal cords, right? You know what vocal cords or vocal folds are there? They are in Sinhala, you know the word Swaratantra, right? So these vocal cords are vibrating constantly when we are talking. And if they vibrate at a faster rate, we say we produced voiced consonants. And if they are not vibrating that much fast, we say we produce voiceless consonants like that. Okay. Then what about the glottal consonants? When we produce glottal consonants, they make a brief closure, right? Okay, what happens is that the airstream passes through the larynx now, right? Airstream passes through the larynx and it goes through it and quits, larynx goes up. Right? In this process, when the airstream is passing through the vocal cords with a kind of friction, right? We produce glottal consonants. Actually speaking, the vocal cords are not vibrating. Like when we say p, k, g, m, ch, j, like that. When we produce glottal consonants, the vocal cord vibration is not there. Right? Instead of that, simply the airstream passes through the vocal cords. Actually, the articulators, so speech organs are the vocal cords. Just like for the articulators are two lips. For the glottal consonants, articulators are the vocal cords. That's all. So everything happens inside the larynx. And in English, we have only one glottal consonant. Only one. Can you guess it? Because in the note, it is not given. Only one glottal consonant. So what did we miss so far? The sound. Yes, yes. What type of a sound do we produce with the use of the vocal cords? Not using the lips or tongue or nothing. Only the vocal cords. Yeah. Can anybody guess? Correct. Correct, Hima. Okay. We have this, the sound H is the glottal consonant in English. Even in Sinhala, we have the sound, right? H. You can feel it when you produce it. Simply the airstream passes through the vocal cords. Okay, without vibrating or anything. Simply it passes through it. All right, so these are the 10 different places of articulation, in the sense 10 different types of sorry, consonant sounds that we can identify based on where we produce them inside the vocal tract. All right, I hope these 10 are clear to you. And then, yes, be familiar with this diagram, right? You have to know where the hard palate is, where the velum or the soft palate, uvula, and the parts of the tongue, and the two sets of lips, and the two sets of teeth, right? And the larynx, the location of all these speech organs, you need to know, you need to remember, have some clear idea. And also nasal cavity and oral cavity. There are two cavities, no? Nasal and oral cavities. Right. Okay. This, right, now in your note, just check whether I have included this image. If not, also no issue, right? No issue. Here, simply, you need to, can you please someone check the note and let me know whether you have this image? Because at the moment, I can't view the note I have sent to you.
We
Can
have
you please, you have this?
yes.
All right, okay, fine. So then you have very small work, very, very small work, right? 1 to 10, you have the types of consonants according to place of articulation from bilabial to glottal, right? And you have arrows indicating this, but the relevant places in the diagram. The simple thing you have to do is to put the numbers near the relevant arrow, right? Now, for example, bilabial, number 1 is bilabial. Where do you find the production of bilabial consonants? Here, right? Here. These are the two lips. So you put number 1 here, like that. Okay. So it goes according to the order. But anyway, you simply do this. Okay. Take 1 or 2 minutes and complete this diagram. All right. Okay, check the markings. Here the numbers are visible, right? In this image, you can find the numbers and simply you can check. So the number 1, bilabial, 2 lips are involved. Number 2, labiodental, upper teeth and lower lip. And number 3, dental. Dental means tip of the tongue and the upper teeth. And number 4, alveolar, tip or blade of the tongue and the alveolar ridge is here. Okay. And then alveolar palatal, it's involving both ridge and the front part of the tongue. Okay, it's somewhere in between. Number 6, palatal, front of the tongue and the hard palate. Then number 7, velar, back of the tongue and the velum. Number 8, uvular, again back of the tongue and the uvula. Pharyngeal, root of the tongue and the pharynx. And the last one, number 10, glottal, inside the larynx, in between the vocal cords. Right, so these are the 10 different places according to place of articulation. All right, hope you have completed your note. Then we have manner of articulation, the next important classification of consonants. So irrespective of the place here, we do not talk about the place now, right? Instead, we talk about how, not where. How do we produce consonants? Wherever, how do we produce consonants? Accordingly, we have again several different types of consonant sounds here, right? Here you can find mainly 7 different types of consonants based on the manner of articulation. Okay, right. So be familiar with these 7 types also. Number 1, stop. We call this category stop consonants. Sometimes oral stop. The word oral stop is also there. And there's another word which is not given in the note, plosives. Okay, plosives. We'll write the word here because plosive consonants. Right? Okay. So then you need to understand what happens. What type of a manner is involved in producing stop consonants? Involving complete closure. Here closure means blocking, disturbing, blocking the airstream, right? Complete closure means when we produce stop consonants, we completely block the airstream that flows through the oral tract. And remember, we block the airstream using the 2 articulators, and these 2 articulators can be at any place inside the vocal tract. Okay. These 2 articulators can be there at any place, which means this complete closure, complete blocking can take place anywhere in the vocal tract. Okay, right. And at the same time, the veli closure means the velum is raised, while the airstream is completely blocked. In producing stop consonants, the velum is also raised. Velum raising means the airstream is flowing through the oral tract only. So here, usually we produce oral stop. That is why we call it oral stop, right? The consonant is a oral consonant. We have so many oral stops actually. Here you have per, the sound per, but can you think of some more examples for plosives or stops, oral stops? Think about consonants which are produced by completely blocking the airstream. Sorry, electricity issue, right? I hope you can hear me, right? There's a power issue. Now give me 1 second. Okay, I need to change my device in case power doesn't come back. Okay, so please give me 1 or 2 minutes. So okay, until I come back, um, until I come back, just go through these manners of articulation, right? I'll change my device and join soon. All right. Can you hear me now?
Yes, miss. We can
Can
hear.
somebody update me whether you
Yes,
can
miss.
hear me?
Yes, miss.
Okay. Yes. Now I had a power cut. Okay. Therefore, I had to change my device, and that is why I took some time. All right. Now I'm going to share the screen. Okay. Unfortunately, I can't switch on my video because it's all black here, right? You will not see me properly. Anyway, let's start our discussion. Right. Okay. Yeah, back to manner of articulation. Uh, I was talking only about stop, right? The first category. And I will move on to the next category, nasal consonants. That is easy in the sense from the word itself, you can understand what's happening here. No? Nasal consonants. Sorry, nasal stop consonants. Right? Now here also, we completely block the airstream, right? That comes from the lungs that enters the vocal tract. But there's a little bit difference between oral stop and nasal stop here. Okay, in the production of oral stops, the airstream enters the oral tract, and after that, it is completely stopped, right? But in the production of nasal stops, the airstream enters the nasal tract. So I think already we have discussed about the difference between oral consonants and nasal consonants, right? When we produce oral consonants, actually the velum or the soft palate is raised. Uh, the complete airflow enters the oral tract there, producing oral sounds. And when we talk about the production of nasal sounds, the velum or the soft palate is lowered, leaving a space, right? Leaving a space so that the airstream can enter the nasal tract and producing nasal sounds. Okay, that part already you know, but here you need to relate it to the production of stop consonants. So when the airstream flows through the oral tract, and then when it is completely blocked, then we talk about the production of oral stop consonants. And when the airstream mainly flows through the nasal tract, right? And at the same time, any two articulators completely block it, right? Some part of the airstream flows through the oral tract as well there. So when the two articulators are completely blocking it, then we produce nasal stop. So we call it velic opening because velum is lower, right? We have, yes, two examples, I think. Yeah. One example for nasal stop is this. Not two, three, right? One example is n. You can find n in the knot also, right? And what are the other nasal stops? Yeah. Yes. We have ma. In producing ma also, we completely block the airstream, right? It's a bilabial, sorry, it's a bilabial consonant, right? But we do not talk about the place here, no? Place is not considered. Talking about how, then ma is also a nasal stop. And there's another one in another place, different place. Can you remember this velar consonant? This one. What does happen when you produce ng? Ng. By using the back of the tongue, right? And the soft palate or the velum, we completely block the airstream. Then only the two articulators are kept apart, right? So therefore, nga is also a stop consonant. In all these three situations, nga, ma, and na, airstream enters the nasal cavity, right? There is a bellic opening. That's the difference between oral stop and nasal stop, right? The third one, fricatives, spirant, it's another term. So when we produce fricative consonants, there is a friction produced. Okay, friction is another word for hissing sound. Hissing sound like shh kind of sound. Okay, so if we produce any of this kind of hissing sound in producing a consonant, that consonant is called a fricative, right? But you need to understand how we produce this hissing sound. What makes this hissing sound or friction? It's this, okay? When you produce a fricative, always when in the production of any consonant, two articulators are necessary now, right? We have to use two articulators in the production of any consonant sound. So here also there are two articulators, but the difference between fricative and stop is that when we produce fricatives, these two articulators are not completely blocking the airstream, which means the two articulators are not completely touching to each other. There is a small space, very small space in between the two articulators. So what does happen then? The airstream is coming, right? And it has to go out of the body through the mouth. So when there is a small space, this airstream is forced through it. Because of that forcing, a hissing sound is produced, which we call a friction. That is the idea given here in the note. Close approximation of two articulators. The two articulators are coming closer only, not touching completely. Coming closer only. Okay, right? Yeah, the airstream is partially obstructed, not completely, so that a turbulent airflow is produced. A fricative sound, friction is produced. We have so many fricatives in English. One example is this sir. Okay, right. Can you just think of the others, other fricatives? So you can here take any consonant sound that has a kind of sh sound. Sometimes this hissing sound is very strong, strongly heard. Some other situations, this hissing sound is not very strongly heard. But still, if there is a kind of hissing sound, we can categorize it as a fricative consonant. Other than sir, what else do you have? Other than sir. Right. The problem in my camera, it seems. Okay. So the power is back, but I don't think I can switch on my camera. There's a problem there. It seems. Okay, anyway, video is not important now. Can you just think about the other fricative sounds? At least one or two? Yeah? No idea? You can check if you have the list of the consonants with you now. You can just have a look at it and identify the consonants that have this hissing sound. Sir is one. Another fricative consonant is sh, right? And you have z. Also, je, like when you say pleasure, measure, these consonants. And even her, there is a kind of hissing sound, right? In producing her also. And there are two more. What about this? Fur, fur. There's a slight hissing sound and also v, right? You can add these examples to your note. Okay, clear? Are you listening in the sense, can you hear me?
Yes, madam.
Okay, fine. Right. Number 4, affricates. Affricates are different now. Now we have talked mainly two types of manners of articulation, two types of consonants. One type is plosives, that means stops. The other type is fricatives. And when we talk about the stops, we have two types, oral stop and nasal stop. And then fricative and affricate is a particular type of consonant that is produced with the combination of both. Both types combine, both stops and fricative, right? So affricate consists of a stop released into a fricative. So usually we start producing affricates with the kind of like a stop. That means by fully blocking the airstream, right? Fully blocking the airstream. But unlike plosives, we do not suddenly keep the two articulators apart. In affricates, we slowly release the two articulators, producing a friction or hissing sound. So it's a kind of stop plus fricative. Affricate is a stop plus fricative because it has the qualities of both these types, right? One example is given here, ch, right, ch. I will write the phonetic symbol also, this one, ch. And also the other palatal consonant we can consider ch too. Affricates. You can try this on your own, right? See whether how you produce these two sounds. We first completely block the airstream, ch, j, by using the hard palate and the front of the tongue. But after that, we slowly keep these two articulators apart, ch, with the friction, right? Okay. Right, and number 5, trills. Trills, though, sometimes it's called rolls. So this also involves complete closure, right? Occasionally, alternating intermittently means sometimes, occasionally, we find a complete closure. That means there's a rapid vibration of the active articulator against the passive articulator. But the thing is, in English, we do not find trills so often. Okay. Yeah, that is why I have given here in the brackets. This sound is not common in English except for the Scottish r made with an apical trill. All right. This Scottish r, it's like this. This act now. You must be clear with this word: active articulate and passive articulate. You can classify all the articulators into two main types, active and passive. Okay, not only talking about the trills, but when you just think about any articulators, I will simply go back here. Right. Now, these are the articulators. No, articulators is another name for speech organs, which I have marked here everywhere, right? So there are active articulators and passive articulators. Active articulators are the articulators that are moving and touching the passive articulators. And passive articulators are fixed. They do not move, of course. It is the active articulator that comes near the passive articulator and touches it and produces sounds. All right. For example, Now, usually this upper lip is a passive articulator, whereas lower lip is active articulator. Okay, and upper teeth considered to be passive and lower teeth active, right? And all the parts of the tongue, tip, blade, front, back, all these parts are active articulators. Whereas alveolar ridge, hard palate, soft palate, uvula, these are passive articulators because you don't find these articulators going anywhere, right? It's true that they are moving, but this articulators that are located down here, I'm sorry. Articulators that are located down in the oral tract, usually they are the active articulators, these ones, right? These are the active articulators against the passive articulators which you find at the upper part. Right. Okay. So when you think about the production of any consonant sound, you need to identify what is the passive articulator, what is the active articulator, because always there are two articulators, no? Right? Okay. So in the production of trills, we find this vibration. Active articulator is vibrating against the passive articulator. Usually now you can try the sound r, r. There, of course, the tongue is playing a major role. No? What does happen to the tongue? Right? What do you do to the tongue when you produce r sounds like vibrating, rolling, and vibrating? So trills are something like that, but not very common type of sound in English. Right? Number 6, flap, or we call it tap sound. And in producing flaps, we quickly block the airstream, right? And that blockage doesn't exist for a long time. Momentary complete closure. Very quickly we block it, and then after that we release the airstream. And the complete closure in which the active articulator strikes the passive articulator only once. And it is one strike of a trill and similar to a stop, except that the tongue is more tense and controlled than in a stop. Like fluff, example for fluff is n. Actually, these trills and flaps are not very common categories, right? Because we don't find many examples in our languages too, but still you need to have some idea. And the 7th one, the last one is approximant, right? Here, one articulator, that means one speech organ, approaches another speech organ. But generally, not to the extent that a turbulent airstream is produced. Even right now, earlier, when we talk about the fricatives, we told, right? I was telling one articulator and the other articulator, two are approaching to each other, leaving a space now in the middle. And the airstream is forced through that space, producing a friction, right? In approximant, one articulator is approaching to the other articulator, but not very close. So that a turbulent airstream of friction is not produced. Okay, right. And we can find such a behavior, right? Such a function of articulators in 3 types of consonants: laterals, retroflex, and glides. Right. Okay. So remember, lateral, retroplex, and glide, all the 3 types of consonants are considered to be approximants. They come under approximant category. What does happen in lateral? Lateral, there also we talk about completely blocking the airstream, but the way we do is little bit different from the others. Right? Okay. There's only one example for lateral consonant, that is L. L in English, the sound of L. So, how do you produce L? Of course, when we say L, our tongue is located in a kind of curve position, right? Inside our mouth, something like that. If you consider this as the tongue, this is the tip of the tongue, right? Tip. And if you know about the place of articulation, the L is an alveolar consonant, right? So this tip of the tongue touches the alveolar ridge by being in a kind of curve position inside the mouth, right? So now what about the airstream? Now airstream is coming like this now. It is coming and mouth is somewhere here, okay? So airstream passes through the tongue in either side of the tongue, which means in both, sorry, either in the sense from both sides of the tongue. Airstream is passing. You simply produce L, you would feel what is happening there. Okay. The air may pass around the sides with no stricture. So we call this kind of function open approximation, right? Okay. Right. And if there is a kind of blockage, in sense now, close approximation can be there in some other languages, but here talking about the production of L, it's involved open approximation, lateral. That's the word you need to remember. The next approximant category is retroflex, right? Now this is different from lateral. What is happening there? This involves the underside of the tongue curling back behind the alveolar ridge towards the palate, and this is our usual R. Okay, the sound of R in English. Laterals and retroflex are called liquids too, right? Anyway, you basically follow. I have taken directly these parts from the module, but be clear with this idea, okay? Right? One approximant category is lateral, another approximant category is retroflex. Third category is glide. Okay, what does happen in retroflex? The tongue curls back in producing the consonant. Now, simply you check how do you say R sound, R, R. There is a vibration, and along with the vibration, we curl the tongue back towards the hard palate. R, okay, towards the hard palate. So that is what we call retroflexes, R sound. Third one, glides. Glide is another word for semivowel. And you find the two semivowels in English, only there are two semivowels. These two you find at the end of the consonant list. I have given you were and year, right? In the note at the moment you have were only and you have year as well. Okay, I will write the two glides were, and the phonetic symbol for year is this. These two are semivowels or glides. Then what is the special thing here? Semivowels contain characteristics of both vowels and consonants. We usually produce these two sounds like vowel sounds. Now, vowel is our next discussion. And there's a very big difference between the production of vowel and consonant, right? When we produce a consonant, there is some kind of obstruction done to the airflow, no? Kind of blockage done to the airflow. But when we produce vowel sounds, the airstream flows through the vocal tract very freely. We do not disturb it. There's no blockage. Similarly, when we produce these two semivowels, were and year, the airstream is not blocked, no stricture, but it functions as a consonant to begin or end syllables. Okay, to begin, sometimes, now you know what syllables are. Syllables are some sound units where there is compulsorily a vowel sound. No? Okay, compulsorily there should be a vowel sound. with or without consonants. Consonant is not a must in a syllable. Usually we identify any part as a syllable if it carries a vowel sound. Okay. But when we talk about the semi-vowels here, were and year, they are produced as vowel sounds with a free flow of air stream. And also when we talk about the usage of were and year, they are used as consonants because we can sometimes start or end syllables with these two sounds as consonants, not as vowels. Okay, at the end of a syllable or at the beginning of a syllable, along with another vowel sound, we might find were and year. Like now, when you think about yellow, the word yellow, 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 the starting sound is y, and yogurt, y. And in the word yellow, there are two syllables, ye and lo, two syllables. First syllable, ye, there's a vowel a, and before that vowel, we have y. So their y functions not as a vowel, but as a consonant. Okay. Even the other semi-vowel were, like when you ask the question, what? The question word what, W-H-A-T, what? We find the starting consonant, sorry, starting sound is this semi-vowel sound, were. Okay, right. So therefore, that is why, of course, we say these two semivowels have the characteristics of both vowels and consonants. They are produced as vowels, they are used as consonants, right? So that is called, semivowels are called glides. Then these two are considered to be types of approximants then. I hope you are clear with these three categories, not two, three categories, laterals, retroflex, and glides. One lateral one retroflex and two glides were and ye. All are approximants. Where we talk about one articulator is slowly approaching the other articulator. To that category we put it. Okay, right. Manner of articulation, I think that's all. Major 7 categories are there. So how do you find this place and manner of articulation? Can follow or, I mean, complicated, or what do you think? You got some idea? Yes? No idea. I don't hear anything from you. May I know whether everything is fine or you are getting what I'm telling? Yes? Can I continue to the next topic, or do you have any issues? Yeah, Madhushan, definitely you have to follow up it. Just go through the note. And okay, sure, I'll continue. The thing is this now, if you were not familiar, if you have not been familiar with these areas, just understanding everything at once is quite, I'm not telling difficult, right? But it might take some time. But be familiar. I'm not asking you all to learn any of these things by heart. Please don't do so. Right? Don't try to memorize any of these things. Instead, understand the overall nature of consonant sounds. Consonant is what type of a sound you mean by consonant compared to vowel sounds. Next, we are going to talk about the vowels, right? And when you talk about the consonants, there are 4 features according to the voicing, according to the oral nasal differences, according to place and manner. You can explain or describe the nature of any consonant. You should be able to describe the nature of any consonant. So that's what I was discussing so far. So if there is any consonant given to you, you should be able to identify its type according to place of articulation, whether it's a bilabial, dental consonant, glottal consonant, like that, according to manner of articulation, whether it's approximant or whether it's a lateral, whether it's an affricate, plosive, likewise, with reasons. That's it. Okay. Otherwise, don't think of memorizing any of these things. There's no use of that. Right. This is a chart that contains all these information. Okay. All the information. You can have a look at. Actually, this chart contains the consonant sounds in their phonetic symbols. You have manner of articulation here in this column, the main manners of articulation, and then whether they are voiced or voiceless, you have it here, and place of articulation. At this side, under the place of articulation, you have several places listed. Bilabial, labiodental, dental, alveolar, alveolar palatal, palatal, velar, and glottal. Right? Accordingly, the relevant consonant sounds are listed in their phonetic symbol. So you refer this table, and you need to refer to this table in line with the note. Then you will clearly understand. There's a very small work. What about this now? Actually, we should not take the lecture time to try this, okay? But I hope I have included this in the lecture note. If not, please take a screenshot or a photo. Please take your notes, right? If this question is not included in the lecture note, take a photo of this, and without referring to any dictionary or anything, try to identify the initial consonant sound in each of the following words, and accordingly you have to give the phonetic symbol. Write the phonetic symbol. Initial means the starting consonant sound, the beginning consonant sound. For that, you have to pronounce these words very clearly, right? Pronounce, not in mind. You have to loudly pronounce these words and identify what the first consonant sound is in each and every word. Once you identify the sound, write the symbol, and that's all. Okay? This is very simple work, but you might go wrong if you do not do it carefully. So I am not expecting to take the class time. Please do this in your study time, right? Okay, that's the example. Sorry, the answers. And this is another similar question, but here you need to identify the final consonant sound in each and every word. Okay, then write the phonetic symbol. You can do this question as a practice. This will provide you a very good practice to what we have discussed today, and answers are not available for that. Right, okay. Next, I expect to move on to vowel sounds. I don't know whether you had time to go through the lecture note earlier, but now you can. Okay, because even if you had gone through this earlier, you must have forgotten. Right. Could you please go through, take 2-3 minutes now? Yeah. These areas up to monophthong and diphthong part. Quickly go through and get some sort of idea. Right? Please do so. Then I can rush through this quickly. Yeah. Right. Well, so what about the vowels then? Mainly, you have to have a very clear idea regarding the difference between consonants and vowels. Okay, so that you can give the difference with one line. We can say the vowel sounds are produced or articulated with no obstruction of the airstream. You can give the whole idea using two words, that means open articulation. Okay, open articulation. And contrasting to that, there is an obstruction done to the airstream in producing consonant sounds. So that's the major thing. And earlier now we have discussed about the consonant sounds, and now you need to think about how vowel sounds are produced. Then now just to talk about at the beginning about vowel sounds, compared to consonants, actually understanding the production of vowels is little bit difficult, because easily we can find out, we can locate the consonants within our vocal tract. We can find out what are bilabials, what are dentals, and how they are produced, whether we completely block the airstream or not, or things like that. We can clearly find out. But compared to the consonants, when you talk about the vowels, they are not that clear, right? Because there are very slight differences among the vowel sounds. So therefore, you have to be careful to identify the characteristics or the features of each and every vowel sound, unlike the consonants here, right? And in acoustic terms, vowels are sounds that vary in pitch, which is determined by the quality of the sound wave, right? And pitch is modified by change in the shape of the resonating chamber. Now, you, I think, are familiar with the pitch. Quality of the sound wave is determining pitch means the voice level, right? High pitch, low pitch, and middle pitch. These are the different pitch levels, the voice levels. And these pitch levels are changed or modified by this the resonating chamber. That means how the vocal, airstream is vibrating within the nasal tract or within the pharynx, right? These vibrations add some modifications to this pitch. So, and all these things have an impact on shaping the vowel sound by using tongue and lips and this lowering and raising of the velum. All these things are interrelated. And finally, the slight changes among the vowels are caused by all these factors. Right? Okay. And the next point, talking about another important feature of vowels. Vowels constitute the nucleus or necessary part of the syllable. Right? Nucleus is the one word to talk about the most important part or necessary part, which we can find inside the syllable. Earlier also I was talking about a syllable, right? We can identify a syllable based on the presence of a vowel. Because if there is a vowel, definitely it can be a syllable, even if there are consonants or not. The nucleus is the most important, the necessary part of a syllable, that's a vowel. So that is another important feature in functional terms, which we find in vowels, right? And okay, now here you get this idea. Classification of vowels is difficult. Why is that? Yes, vowels are articulated not by putting the articulators into discrete shapes like consonants, but by shaping the tongue in the mouth. Mostly, or most of the vowels are produced by shaping the tongue in the mouth, by shaping the position of the tongue. Okay, so these differences are very slight. Okay. Well, so please refer to the note. Yes, we can produce the acceptable vowel sounds without the full complement of articulatory gestures, like, for example, with our teeth tightened or without the required lip rounding. Okay, we can produce vowel sounds. And also differences in length combined with differences in quality in distinguishing vowels, but it's not always easy to separate these differences. And it's quite difficult to pinpoint exactly where the tongue is when a vowel is produced. Oh, this is especially true for back vowels. Yeah, back vowels. Now we are going to talk about these different types of vowels. One example for back vowel is U, right? U. This one. The position of the tongue. Sometimes it's not very clear. Okay, we know the tongue is there inside the mouth, but how it's located exactly, the exact location, sometimes we may be unable to identify. Sometimes it might change from person to person also. So all these ideas are given here to tell that it is somewhat difficult to exactly identify the particular location of vowels, right? Location as well as how we produce vowel sounds compared to the consonants. Okay, but there are ways and means, and we have some more information about this. Sometimes vowels are easier to classify than consonants. We have that advantage also. Because talking about the consonants, we have both place of articulation and manner of articulation. But talking about the vowel sounds, we have only place of articulation. Actually, manners are almost the same. Because all vowels are voiced and oral. Remember this. This is a fact you should remember. Okay. Now, okay, I will go back to the previous point. For consonants, we must consider four criteria like voicing, orality or nasality, place, manner. But talking about the vowels, instead of all these four criteria, we have only one criterion, place. Because unlike the consonants, we don't have any option here, right? We don't have subtypes of vowels talking about the voicing and orality or nasality. All the vowels are voiced. We don't have voiceless vowels. And all the vowels are oral. We don't have nasal vowels unless we nasalize them. Sometimes we nasalize some sounds, right? Don't we? If you are not feeling well, right? If you are suffering from cold or something like that, don't you feel sometimes you talk using nose, right? That's what in Sinhala we say, right? In Sinhala we say nahayin katha karanu, something like that. Because what does happen there? The air stream flows through the nasal cavity, goes out of the body through the nose. By origin, of course, talking about the English language, we have only four nasal consonants. All the others are oral, but sometimes people nasalize with or without intention, right? With or without intention, some people nasalize some sounds, even consonants or vowels. I'm not talking about that to far, right, to a great extent, but you should be aware of this practically how these things happen. But remember this, vowels are, all the vowels are voiced and oral. Right. And talking about the manner of articulation, all vowels are produced with open approximation, which means without disturbing the airflow. So it's easy to remember. We can categorize the vowels only based on their place of articulation. Right. Okay. So we will talk about it bit later. Now we have two kinds of vowel sounds, right? Monophthongs and diphthongs. Monophthong means one vowel sound. Mono means one, right? Here thong means sound. Monophthong means one vowel sound anyway, right? And can you guess what you mean by diphthong? Then diphthong is another type of vowel sounds. Diph means two. So diphthong is a vowel sound that contains two vowels, producing two vowels, one after the other, yes, quickly. So we are going to have a look at these two types of vowels one by one now, right? Yeah, starting with monothong, that's a single or simple vowel. In the nucleus of a syllable. Even when you just look at a syllable, you might find there. And the position of the tongue is more or less static, that means fixed, and there is relatively constant acoustic property or pitch to the sound. Right? This is a very brief introduction to monotongues, but you have to have Okay, a lot of disturbances today, disconnections and all these things, but hope you can hear me now. I'm going to show you the list of monothongs, and after that, yeah, let's yes. You have, I think, the list with you all. Okay, cardinal vowel diagram I will discuss the next day, right? Okay, now here you can find all these monothongs. There are 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 monophthongs, and you have here in this list the relevant phonetic symbol and few words where you find the relevant monophthong, the vowel sound. Okay, for example, the first one, if you are unable to find out the vowel sounds, you can just refer the word. First word here, sorry, first vowel sound is E, short E. You can find short E in rip, women, city, this kind of words, E. And the second vowel sound E, long sound, right? Like in B, receive, key, likewise. Next, third one, A, like in bed, said, head, A sound. Next one, A, like in back, sat, cat. Is the next one, like in farm, father, calm, harm, right? Next one, O. Be familiar with the symbol, right? For each and every vowel sound. Next one, hot, O. Like in hot, O, quality. And next one, O, like in boat, coat. Next, U, short U sound, like in good and wooden. The next one, U sound, like wound, soon, rude. Next one, it looks like the phonetic symbol looks like upside down letter V. The sound is A, not A, right? Suddenly we say short A, like but, hut, done. The next one, the one before the last one, this is A. We call this schwa also. This has a name, a popular vowel sound, A. And in the words like address, grammar, attend, you find that sound. And the last one, 12th one, is the long sound of like in bird, herd, word, like that. Right? Okay, so I think these words help you to identify what the vowel sound is and remember the symbols, phonetic symbols. But when it comes to talk about phonetic transcription, of course, you have to remember these symbols, symbols of both consonants and monophthongs. Okay, right. We will talk about the cardinal vowel diagram the next day. I think the time has passed. So I'm going to then wind up the discussion. And I think tomorrow the lecture has been scheduled. We'll see, right? So probably we are going to continue tomorrow. We'll see, right? Okay. I'm sorry for the disturbances today due to this power cut and all these things. Hopefully, we'll be able to do the lecture without any of these issues the next time. Right. Okay. Good night, all of you. Let's meet soon.
Thank you, madam. Good night.
Thank you, madam. Good night.
Good night, ma'am.